takeout or delivery. Let's talk Stil'rs.
Hello, Stil'rs Nation. It's Tank and Mike from Italian Village Pizzeria. Are you over like your malaria or whatever you had?
No, I'm limping home. It's the end of the season. And,
all taped up?
I'm kind of like the Stil'rs right now.
You're better off than the Stil'rs are. All right, look, if you're turning in for some positive talk, I was positive the last couple episodes. I was trying to, say the offensive line like Zach Frazier was doing good, and I was looking for positives. We finally used Darnell Washington. Look, if the Stil'rs can yell and gripe at each other, I can gripe. So you better just stand there and listen to me talk at you for the next half hour, because I'm not happy.
Well, the positives. You did play three of...
What, Steely McBean got a new hat?
No, you played 3 of the top 5 teams in the league. So, you
got your butt handed to you.
You get a warm-up. Hey, listen, it's a warm-up, it's a gimme, you know what you're dealing with. So now you're ready the next time. It's always hard to beat an opponent twice. So it's going to be harder for those teams to beat the Stil'rs the next time.
Are you one of these guys that's going to try to sell me, oh, it's the playoffs, everybody's 0-0 going in, it's I don't want to hear that nonsense. Can I get on to my rants,
I'm trying to sell you the hat in your look right now. I'm trying to expand the Stil'r Nation, the Yinzer Nation, maybe a little bit more hipster.
Why don't you give me a tinfoil hat and I'll wait for space aliens to come down.
Go to football.
And I want to start with Arthur Smith, okay, because this guy was brought in to, revamp your offense and get things moving. Is he better than Randy Fichtner? Absolutely. Is he better than Todd Canada Dry? There is no doubt. I could get a guy off this guy Schmo sitting over there with the yellow hair. I could get him and he could call better offense than Matt Canada did. I'm completely disappointed at this point in the season in Arthur Smith. Okay? You're an offensive coordinator, you played in the NFL, you're in a high school game right now. Before we play game one, what do? We sit down and look at what assets we have before the season starts, right? I want to build an offense built around what assets you have. Let's start with your running backs. Matt Canada had no clue what he had in Jaylen Warren. You've been listening to me for 2 years talk about how good Jaylen Warren is. And now all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my goodness, he's good, he should be starting. Matt Canada didn't see it. Arthur Smith, it's taken him, what week are we into now?
Well, Najee Harris is your every down back.
Yep.
Your
workhorse.
Cowbell, but he's not performing the way, he's durable, yes, but he is trying to bounce too much. Najee needs to be a little bit more north and south, and then allows Jaylen Warren to be your little change of pace guy.
Yeah, but you got to use Jaylen Warren. You can't just set him on the bench for most of the season and go, oh boy, he's really good. Najee isn't playing well. You know what? A, B, C, D, E, F. Arthur Smith gets a D- on using Jaylen Warren and his 2 running backs, especially correctly with the tandem, let alone, and you and I have gone back and forth on this, trying to get Najee to the outside. Look, on occasion, Mike, you can do it and it'll work, right? But it can't be remember Matt Canada and his stupid jet sweeps all the time? It's almost like Arthur Smith's jet sweeps are trying to get to Najee outside all the time. So that's my first rant. Okay?
Fair enough.
Second rant. Man, if you looked at that tape of Darnell Washington out of Georgia, a winning national championship program, you knew coming out of college, Darnell Washington would catch anything you throw at him. Not only is he 6'9" and can jump up there and catch anything, but he can catch anything. Matt Canada didn't use him at all. If you're going to build an offense, Mike, now I got you 2 stud running backs. Mike McMahon's offense, not Matt Canada, Arthur Smith. I got you 2 great running backs. Now I got you 2 really exceptional tight ends in Freiermuth and Washington. What are you doing to use them correctly from day one?
Oh, you're using multiple personnel sets. You're using different formations. You're doing shifts and motions. You're trying to confuse the defense. The problem is, teams are now subbing back and forth, but I would like to see them spread the ball a little earlier in first down. Maybe throw the ball in first down. Pick up the 6. Get the second and 4 or 2nd and 3. Then go to the heavier set. Now you get the 2 tight ends in, you get the 2 running backs in. and you can actually run it, or you can play action it for the chunk plays. I think it's the first down play calling that's getting them behind. They're just trying to run it first down. They're behind, and now look, spread them out. Maybe use 11 personnel, which is 3 receivers, 1 back. Maybe get a quick passing game in, pick up that easy 4, 5, 6 yards, and put yourself in a second and medium situation. Bring in the heavy package, and now you can run the ball and get the 3rd and 1. Or you can play action and pick up the chunk plays. That is football 101. That's not stuff that, it should happen once every 3, 4, 5 games, not twice a game. This is professional football at this point. And not being able to line up in a legal formation that's, it hurts you. And then those penalties, you pick up those yards, now all of a sudden you get that penalty and you get 5 yards. I mean, hey, if you score on that play, it might be a 40-yard touchdown, that's coming back. So now that's a 45-yard penalty. It's not just a 5-yard penalty. So, you have to be able to make those big plays and capitalize on those big plays when they come throughout a game, and you can't have those negated by an illegal motion or an illegal shift or an illegal formation.
Again, analyzing Arthur Smith's C- offense this year. Mike knows this. I'm big on tight ends attacking linebackers, both in a blocking game, run game, and also getting at them and throwing that pass right in front of them. Attack your linebackers. I mean, Mount Washington's a massive man. Attack your linebackers with your tight ends, especially when you have 2 great tight ends. So with the running back scenario, with the tight end scenario, Arthur Smith has failed. Now I'm going to get into, the prima donna, the head case, George Pickens. Mike, you've played with Terrell Owens. You've played with some of the very best wide receivers in the league. We've talked about prima donnas. We all get that with wide receivers. Is this beyond prima donna with George Pickens and stuff that's going on? I know you're not a psychiatrist.
Yeah,
if it was your team and you were quarterback, would you be happy with him?
First of all, there is some immaturity there, and I think people don't understand that. And this is hard. It's really hard because although these professional athletes, especially in their first 3 years in the league, although they are getting paid a lot of money and more than they have ever had, they're still kids, and their minds are still maturing at this point, and they're not fully developed, and he needs someone to help him. And unfortunately, what has happened in the Pittsburgh Stil'rs probably the past 6, 7 years.
Preach, brother, preach.
It's kind of gone on. Antonio Brown kind of got out of control. Then you had Juju, and then you had Deontay Johnson, and then you had Claypool, and now you've got George, and it's kind of like a cancer. You get it and you cut a little bit out, and it makes it better for a little bit, but then it comes back. And until you get rid of it completely and hold them more accountable and force them to maybe grow up a little earlier, you're going to have that issue. What do you want your career to look like? Because you're starting to go down this path, and you will get labeled as this bad person. You cannot do this. Now, at the same time, will it come from the head coach? Just like some kids don't like to listen to their dad, and they need a coach to tell them instead. So maybe it might be a situation where Russell Wilson needs to pull him over and be like, hey man, I care about you.
Should have been done already.
I need to hand you over.
Look, this should have been done in OTAs. I'm really frustrated.
No, it's not done in OTAs because you don't know them that well. Once through the season, at this point now you're gonna have that heart.
I had 2 guys messing with me once, and I got them in a elevator, and I stopped the elevator between the 2nd and 3rd floor. They didn't mess with me after that. You get the point, Steelers Nation. I'm a little bit frustrated. When we come back, I'm going to throw out more frustration. Well, look, if Patrick Queen can be upset, if Cam can be upset, if Deshaun Elliott can be upset about the Steelers second, you can be upset if you too. Look, here, hold that. No, I'm good. Okay, we'll be back.
This holiday